So I didn't realize how addicted I was to pressure in my life until, well, it finally slowed down. For once, the silence felt very uncomfortable. Not because the peace was bad, but I never really got the concept of how to relax after an insane amount of work. So, for added context, I'm specifically talking about my time in Texas, where for about a month or so, I was basically 6 a.m. to midnight, every day grinding, barely any time to break, gym, business, whatever you could think of, I was doing. When I moved back home to spend time with my family, everything was really quiet. There was no constant calls. There was no chaos of what I'm doing on the day. There was no having to be out at this time, come back at this time to go to this thing at this time and take calls at this time. There was nothing of that. And I know for a lot of people that would bring a lot of comfort to, oh, finally, brother, I don't have to do all this bullshit anymore. I can just chill and be swell. And I felt like that for maybe a couple of days. And then I got really, really restless and uncomfortable. It was like something was wrong, even though nothing was. It was just in my mind, like peace felt foreign. After having to, grind that hard and have to go through a lot of stuff for that long, I didn't know how to, I guess, how to exist without that high level of intensity. And I just kept asking, what is wrong with me? Because I'm with my family, I'm with my friends, there's a roof over my head, there's home cooked meals, there's everything you could ask for. And yet it felt like I was losing momentum, like I was falling behind because life just wasn't crazy anymore. I felt inside of me that was like, maybe it wasn't the right call to come home. Maybe actually it would have been better to stay back in Texas and continue to grind, continue to keep going, because I was afraid of slowing down. Because that means, in my eyes, it was like, oh shit, well, that's it, I'm done. Chop, chop, we're never getting to that level again. And that just wasn't the case because I've been so conditioned, thanks hustle culture, fuck you, by the way, to believe that, being under pressure constantly. And if my life just wasn't insane, that I wasn't progressing, I wasn't growing. And that calm, I understood, meditation and all of that. But I felt at the time that I would rather spend that time that I could use for calm into activities that generate more revenue, or maybe get better in gym or something along those lines that would help me in my goals, and peace can fuck off because I'll deal with that later. And then one day it kind of just clicked. Stress per se. It was me just being so used to pressure that when peace finally entered my life and I was surrounded by, my loved ones and my friends, it felt like it felt threatening per se. So when the work kind of slowed down, it felt wrong to me because I'm kind of just internalized the hustle and the grind inside. Growing up, my parents were working every day, hours on end, and that's just kind of how I've become, just grinding, etc. Just nothing whatsoever. And so like once I finally kind of started to enjoy the calm and the peace after so long, it felt really nice. I felt like overall now, I feel a lot calmer, and I've definitely like had the glasses taken off me per se of hustle, where in hindsight, maybe I should have taken the time to meditate, or maybe to read, or maybe to just go on a walk in a park or something, when I could have instead maybe have chosen at the time to go work more. I know you might think, oh, but not peace is happy. Yes, it can. It gets to a point where you're not doing anything, and I like to work. So I've kind of had to, my struggle right now is finding that balance. Push hard enough where I'm making progress, but also kind of calm down to kind of satiate that need. Because if I go full on a hardcore grind again, I'm just repeating the same mistake and I didn't learn anything. But if you stick to peace for too long and comfort, you will eventually stagnate and eventually slip, which is what I don't want and I'm afraid of. So it's finding that balance that I currently am struggling a bit, but making progress. I've definitely have felt recently, because I've gone back into the gym. I had to take a break. My body was basically broken. I've gotten into the groove of book stuff again, going out and sourcing, and I've definitely started incorporating some more reading and just calmer time for myself. And it definitely has really helped in terms of like keeping my energy consistent and actually enjoying the peace instead of dreading to have to calm down. Because that was kind of one of my big issues, is I would just block time to meditate and such, and then I would become stressed because like, oh shit, I got to do this now. And instead of that, and it's just not, that's not good for you if you have to time block meditation. It's better if it just comes naturally. We're like, oh shit, I kind of do want to meditate right now. Much better that way because you actually feel you want to instead of shit. I guess I have to. If you're in a similar boat to me, which I feel like most of you are, a lot of you guys are founders and such, don't panic when it becomes quiet or when all of a sudden there's nothing to do. Just kind of observe what your reaction is. You may have the same reaction that I did. Oh shit, I don't want to be in this. Or you may have, oh brother, I needed this desperately. See where you are, and I'll kind of tell you how much you did. Was it too much? Was it too little? Could you have done more? Maybe could have done less. And then go from there. Peace feels scary when pressure, you know, became home for me. But peace is where you finally become, my eyes, the person you're trying to fully build as a whole and not just two halves of a different person.